Today I am doing eyelid curtains. I've made the curtains, but now I'm going to cut holes in the curtains where the rings. So I've got my tool here which I bought, and quite honestly there is a knack to this, but this is not 100% perfect. Now that I've bought this, what I'm going to do is go and buy the actual machine. This has just told me the amount of effort that I have to put in to use this along with my mullet. Right, it's a heck of a work which you cannot do for long. So I've done already 36 holes, and I'm going to now show you the workmanship that I have to do with hitting this thing. Now I'm on my table, and quite honestly you really need a solid table. Now this table, I find that when I use this with 2 layers of fabric, it doesn't work. So what I have to do, I've got my chopping board here, which it was recommended by where I bought it from. So I've got my chopping board, and what I had to do is I had to get some thick fabric to put underneath the fabric that I actually want to do. And as you can see, I've created a lot of holes in it already to get this thing to work, because it seems as though it works mainly on thick fabric. So here I've doubled up my fabric, and on my table what I do is my table has got drawers underneath it here, so I have to look for the strongest part of my table, which is the two which is connecting here on my table. So the end of my cupboard is here. So I've got two. So this section of my table is the strongest part, not here, because the pressure that I put on hitting it is hitting a hollow space. So I have to hit it here, in between this section here and this section here. This section here is my strongest part of the table. So now I'm going to show you the hard work that I have to do. Now this is doubled up 4 times, and I don't even think 4 times enough. I think maybe that might be enough, but let's try 4 at the moment. Now I'm going to get my fabric. Now this fabric is very expensive. And as I can say, there's one I've done earlier. There it is, there. So up there, so there's one I've done earlier using this system. So there's the curtain all the way down. So I'm going to do that again. Now I haven't showed you anything for a long time because I've been extremely busy with the moving, with my son's wedding. There was just a lot of things happening at the moment, and I can't wait for it all to be over. Now here we have it now. Now you must remember to move the fabric from behind and make sure it's clear, otherwise, oh my lord, you're going to have to make the whole thing all over again or lose the height. Here are my rings, and the type of rings that I'm using. Here are my rings, and the type of rings that I'm using are clips. So you open it up and you put this section at the bottom and this one on the top. Yeah, so that's easy. So here we go. Now what I find is that when I'm hammering this, you make sure it's in the center of everything, right? And I've counted probably around 10 hits I've got to hit this by. So the video might switch off, but anyway, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and what I find is I have to tilt it in a circle as I go around in order for it to cut it. So you see the amount of times I'm hitting it. and it's done. Now this is only the third one that I've done and got it perfect. So I'm pleased with that. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. And now you put the fatter, larger one. See that lip? You put that at the bottom and that on top. And there you are. There's your first one done. Now to do another one. Make sure everything is out of the way. Make sure it's circular. And here we go. Now yesterday I was doing a lot of cutting out with the scissors, but today seems like it's going to be a brilliant day. And that's what I was telling you. It does sometimes it doesn't quite finish the task. So I have to use my scissors in the end. But I tell you what, it's doing much better than yesterday. Now, as I said, what I do is I tilt it as I go around to get the job done, so it helps to cut into it. So I just do it slightly over exaggerated then. So I'm tilting it now and I can feel it going in. Now here's another tip. You find that when you are aligning the tape on your fabric, you find that it doesn't always measure up to what you want, and you have to cut off the fabric to get it to fit. And even when you cut it, you're cutting off too much, a whole section just to get it to fit and work out for your calculation. But there is also another tip that you can do. Every time we're at a certain part, you can actually pleat the tape. You only pleat it a little bit, and when you pleat it, it only say brings it in say a couple of inches each time, right? By the time you've gathered this all up, you don't see that you've actually pleated the tape, and then you can get the tape to fit equally on your fabric. I mean, this fabric was, I think this fabric was £47 a metre. Why would you want to cut it off after paying all that money? No, adjust the tape. So as you can see, it doesn't always do it. So here we have now, you can see the distance between this one and this one. So that is that one there, that one goes there, that one goes there, and that one goes there. And then the front will always be equal. So I will get on with them. I've got, I think, over 36 or more. I've got 73 holes in all to do. So now I've finished doing the eyelids, and now I'm going to gather this up to measure 63 inches. Now I've got 3 joining on each side, and this is for a window size 320 centimeters, which is 116 inches long. So there's 3 joining here, and this fabric is 55 inches wide. Sorry for blackout. So now this eyelid tape is one that you can gather up. So that's what I'm doing here now. I'm going to gather it all up. So you can see on this side, this is where it gathers. So that's the thing I like about this particular eyelets curtain. It's the finished result is much more tidier than the other one. Right, so there it is. There it is. It's roughly spaced out, right, and in between you can see the tapes as they gathered up. So you can adjust these, which is a clever idea. When you put it high up on the wall, you're not going to see them. I'll fix that one there and pull it in a bit more. So that's that, all uniformed. Now the tape, you will look at the tape and you will see that the gaps are different. Here's a tape. This particular tape, when you look at it, you will see the distance between these two here are greater than there. So you have to be careful before you stitch it and measure it up alongside your cap curtain. You've got to make sure that this section here, the smaller section, is where you will cut to start the ends, and by the time you get to the other end you'll find that this doesn't work out evenly, so you'll get stuck, quite honestly. But all you have to do is what I showed you here, is you can see that with all this gathering up, you can't tell that I've actually pleated the tape right here. So every now and then, so there's a pleat there, there's a pleat there, and I equally space it out to gather in, right, because this bit that is, which was go in, is where it's not going to show that I've taken away, say, 2 or 3 centimeters. It's not going to show at all by the time you open your curtains and show it. It doesn't. So it's hidden. So that's how you get away with spacing out this tape when it's going to give you problem. You'll be lucky sometime and it doesn't, but if you cut off the edge of the fabric, you're wasting fabric. You might as well put it in and find another solution. So it's done. So there it is. I'm now going to put it up there to join this one, and then I'm going to give it a good old steam. But before I go, I want to say thank you But before I go, I want to say thank you to Jamie. Jamie is a subscriber whereby he has followed me, followed all my videos, and he watches, so he will be seeing this one. Now, when I was buying the eyelid cutter, when I was buying an eyelid cutter, Jamie some time ago sent me a video of a cutter that was kind of different, and I knew I saved it, but I had no idea where I put it. So I asked him again for it, but in the search we both were looking for something, and in the end, because I was running out of time, I had to go with this. It saved me a lot of time by using a scissors, which is what I've been doing over the years, but at the same time it took me 2 hours to do all those holes, and it's very tiring, and I couldn't do all those holes in one day. I had to spread it out and take a break, but so that helps me out for now. But really and truly, I've got to get the proper machine one day, right? It's a lot of hard work using this, but it saves the day. So thank you, Jamie, for your help in searching for one, and thank you all for watching this DVD.